It was on the news today. Well, everybody knew. $30. That was 25.
The reason you went to 30? Well, you need another $5 or what?
Well, I could do it, I'm broke, but they don't go to me.
Well,
Yeah, some of it's just overbearing.
You know, they were paying like $100. I was like, wow.
You ready? We're going to call the Tipping Common Council meeting to order and begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. First item on the agenda are the minutes from the last meeting.
I move to approve the minutes as written.
We got a motion and a second to approve the minutes from our last meeting. All those in favor of the motion signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Appreciate the enthusiasm on that. Any amendment to the agenda?
I can do it under comments, but there's one we do need to vote on, and that's the changes made to the animal control services contract. We'll want to vote on that. We can do that whenever.
Okay.
Do it under new business.
Yeah, we might put that under new
I'll make
business.
a motion to amend the agenda to add the animal services contract changes under new business.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to add the animal services contract under new business. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
And the other one I'll just do under board comments.
Moving on with the agenda, the second meeting of the month, we'll start with Board of Works and Safety.
We had a pretty busy meeting. We had a public hearing on evaluation and selection of the developer for the baseball diamonds. We had 4 submissions, and the review committee met about 2 weeks ago, scored them with envoys dealt, and then officially chose today Build BW as the contractor or the developer to build the new baseball fields. If anybody's interested, they had some submission documents. They had a rep here today who said they would aggressively be trying to meet that next year's play ball deadline. So the next phase will be developing construction documents and then getting started. Hopefully October, I believe is what we said, with some earth movement and stuff. And they did confirm that they also found some of the issues we ran into before out there, car parts and glass on the third baseline, but nothing that they saw, I don't think right now is a problem within the budget that we've allowed. So that was a big thing. We also approved ERI Engineering Resources to be the engineer for the schematic architecture. That contract will sit with us, but it could migrate to BW as part of the project. The advantage to signing that now is we can actually get started on some of the construction documents. It falls under the same budget we've allowed. Some of the stuff I'll let the mayor update because a lot of it came from his mayor's report. Fire department, police department were at the Board of Works meeting today. Today was the new day of their department staff templates for the report, so we're getting more of an in-depth view of what's going on. Everything going pretty well. We're fully staffed on both now with 2 police officers headed to the academy soon. Chief Stout shared with us they had a 5-ounce cocaine bust, which is quite a bit. And hopefully these reports will also give the council some idea of what's coming down the pipe. For instance, Chief Stout or Chief Bittner let us know, as of now, we may need to adjust the budget for full-time firefighter wages. If they keep going the way they are, they're not gonna have enough money in the budget. So that was about it. The rest I'll let the mayor give an update.
Thank you.
Very good. Golf Advisory Committee, have they met?
No.
Okay. The quarterly meeting for the partnership initiative has not taken place either. Solid waste I can offer a brief update there. Did meet, we welcomed Angela Shelton, who's the new Solid Waste Management District Executive Director. So she brought to our first meeting some assessment of what it is currently. What we're working on is a reply to the State Board of Accounts, or annual audit. There's always some things to work on. So she's getting her feet under her to address some of those issues. And then from a facility perspective, just some typical cleanup. We want to make sure that the facility looks like a professional facility. So there's some cleanup that needs to occur there. And that would conclude largely our meeting today. Jumping down then to Planning Commission.
Meeting canceled.
Okay, moving right along to Utility Board.
Utility board met in these chambers last Monday evening. Everything's going good with the West Street project. No, seriously, it is. We've started on the East Street project, and everything's going well with the water tower. I'm not sure the electricians have done much yet, but that'll be up and going soon.
Yep.
And the West Water Treatment, I'm not sure if they got all the pumps set yet or not, but I think they've got everything
Yeah.
they need to finish that.
Very
So,
good. Perfect. No update from Youth Council. School's back in session next Friday, if you can believe that. So that'll kick back in and we'll have reports thereafter. Now jumping into our agenda under new business, the animal services contract.
Yes, the council got the presentation last meeting regarding animal services. We only budgeted 25,000 for this year, not 28, and we actually have no executed contract right now. So I went through, edited the contract. Tammy actually caught some other things. We sent the draft back to the Humane Society Board. They're fine with it, but the substantial change really is just changing that payout amount from 28,000 to 25. So we reduced it, and they were okay with that. So I don't want to sign it without any council questions or, we're going to get ahead of it this year. I've already got a reminder that once we approve budgets, we'll reach back out, change the contract, just the amount, and reapprove as a council ahead of time. Other than that, there's really no other changes. So I make a motion that we accept or allow me to execute the animal services contract with the reduced amount to 25,000 based on our budget.
We got a motion and a second to approve the 2025 contract for animal services and then provide Council President Kring to sign that contract with the Tippecanoe County Humane Society. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. No items in our old business. Under my report, just briefly, Nathan touched on the baseball project, the timeline, again, to elaborate a little bit more on that, spending much of August going through that scoping, confirming the scope with the stakeholders, and then working with ERI, who was the architectural and engineering group, to build for public consumption what those facilities will look like. So we understand exactly what it is that will get delivered to the community. What we're still working with right now is conversation with DNR. We've gotten the release from IDEM. The site doesn't have any contaminants that we need to be concerned with, though there is debris that needs to be taken in consideration. DNR, when they updated or created a flood map back in 1973, that created some challenges for areas that were in the floodplain. If you had existing facilities pre-1973, you could get grandfathered in. So what we're trying to do is figure out what documentation do they need for us to qualify under that, because they clearly had baseball facilities there pre-1973. If we can't satisfy that requirement, then we'll have to go through a permitting process with DNR. So that's one of those challenges with the timeline, is if we have to go through the DNR permitting process, that's 90 days. And that could stretch us into October. So we expect that construction could start sooner, but conservatively October-ish timeframe when shovels hit the ground. Also, some updates on some road work that I made the board works aware of. Our street department, municipal services department is going to do some work on North Street and Washington Street. Specifically, the blocks on North is intersections from Main to east. It's a 2-block stretch. Now in Washington from green to west. And what we're going to do is apply what is called liquid asphalt to the road, which is meant to help extend the life expectancy of these roads. From a Paisley rating, those have been rated from a 5 to a 7. So the base is at least good for the foreseeable future, the next 2 to 3. What we're hoping is this application from a maintenance perspective extends that life, ideally by double, if not more. We've had some experience in the past with a similar product. This is a little bit different, but behaves very similarly, just trying to rehydrate the asphalt to make it all stick together longer. So we think if this goes well, and we're testing it on roadways that adjoin recent asphalt, so it is a really good A/B testing to see how it behaves over the next couple of years. But this could become an annual practice where we start to identify those roads, start to reduce our need to mill and repave, and just simply conduct some manual maintenance to these roadways. So I think it's a creative solution, trying to extend the life of our roads. And then public safety building, last thing, we should be getting some approved documents from the architect engineer this week. We'll be sure to verify those with both chiefs. And then if everything goes as expected, we should have that out to bid to the paper next Wednesday. So that'll formally go out for bid to local contractors. There'll be about a 30-day window to receive bids, and then the Board of Works will open those at the first meeting in September. So making great progress on that one as well. With that, jumping into resolutions and ordinances for this evening, there are 3 of them on the agenda. The first resolution, 2025-10, is a preliminary resolution declaring an economic revitalization area and supporting a property tax abatement for DMT Capital LLC within the city limits. Yep. So you have before you, it declares the area an economic revitalization area, and then supports the economic incentive of a 3-year tax abatement graduated proportionately. So first year is 100%, year 2 is 66%, year 3 is 33%, 4th year is 0.
Did you say how many years?
3.
This is 10.
Identifying the area as an economic revitalization area, just from a template perspective, sets it as 10-year, but the specifics of the tax abatement are for 3 years. And then it's also under the condition as negotiated with DMT Capital. They have to begin work no later than Labor Day, and then finish work Labor Day of 2026. So trying to balance their need for some economic assistance and then the community's need to see these spaces developed on a timely basis.
Well, that helps.
You had some questions, Tim?
Yes, I spoke to you earlier. One of my biggest concerns was that being a commercial property to make money.
Mhm.
If there was anything in the past where we've ever done anything like that before, is there a new law for that, or?
No, so in a tax abatement perspective, there's 3 opportunities: real property, which is improvements to the actual property itself; personal property are investments into equipment that's within the facility; and then there's a vacant tax abatement. So originally, DMT Capital was pursuing the vacant tax abatement. I think there's an application window that they may have missed from a state perspective. And so with that, they applied for a personal property tax abatement. So those have always been real property, excuse me. They've always been available to businesses throughout the state of Indiana's state statute. So nothing has changed from that perspective. This would be our first, I believe, in the downtown area that's been considered.
Okay, does that open it up for a lot more? Was that open to begin with then?
Yeah, that's always been available too. Yeah.
It's always been.
Yep.
Okay.
There's usually some grading that goes along with this, like consideration. It's not, and there's stipulations, pretty strict stipulations too. Like you can't just, like I can't, my office building, I can't say, well, I want a tax abatement. I have to prove that it's a new construction or that it's new equipment. That's usually traditionally what we see is someone in the industrial park is building a new building or buying new equipment, and they want a tax abatement for it. And this council can actually set any schedule we want. It can be 100 every year over 20, 25 years now, I
I think so.
It could be graduated, it can go up and down. It's totally up to the council.
Mhm.
So if somebody bought another building here in town that hasn't been started to start it, they can ask for a tax abatement. then?
Correct. If someone bought an empty lot or a building, it's the initial assessment's where it's at then, but once you start construction, it gets a little harder to apply for an abatement. But then the increase in property taxes, which you can abate or forgive. We did it, I think the Tipton Senior Apartments was maybe the last one.
HB always.
HP always. We have approved over the last 6-7 years here, a few. I've always voted no, but
And this also does not get into what you talked about in one meeting about the new law. If it goes 10 years, then it could go into one forever. This does not get into that.
The personal property. So since this is real property, those actually wouldn't apply. But personal
Okay.
property, since they've taken away the floor for that, and it will actually graduate down to zero,
Right.
that would be something we'd have to consider. But this one is for real property, not personal. So
I think what this does the most for the council and the mayor is it puts a timeline on it. So if things are not progressing to the liking of the mayor or the council, we can just next year revoke the tax abatement. So it's kind of like an incentive to keep the project moving, which we hope they do. I mean, they have been
Yes.
working hard, but we want them to finish it as soon as possible.
That's all
That
I
kind of
have.
hurts
Thank
with
you.
SB1, doesn't it?
Could, yeah.
What did you say, Rich?
I said that kind of hurts with SB1, doesn't it?
the assessment, because it was well, this property specifically has been vacant for a long time. Not the Gene Lewis building, but besides Side Street Mall. So the impacts actually wouldn't be felt. We wouldn't see revenue loss. We would actually appreciate revenue growth as the sun sets.
Well, and these also are gonna have people that live there. So with the ability now for us to levy an income tax, it could be a net gain as well. But we need them to finish it and then get them rented and have, I think, 9 apartments in one or 4 or 5 in the other.
Yep.
So that could be a minimum of 13 people.
So it is for housing.
Yeah.
Partial housing. I think one is all housing.
Correct.
The one over by the side.
Side Street Mall.
What's one and what's the other?
Yeah.
This
it
one is
lists at the
for
one,
pure residential, the one by the side street.
Yes.
The old Tyon is apartments and commercial.
But that don't have nothing to do with this, does it?
No, it's 'cause
The tie-on, no.
Okay.
because this is real property at this property. So that's why they've already started construction on the other one. That's
Yeah.
why it's important to apply as early as possible.
But this is to build apartments and collect money to make a profit, correct?
Well, every tax abatement we've ever approved is for a for-profit. private
Yeah.
company.
Right.
Not for profits, I don't believe.
Yeah.
Maybe they could, but yeah, everybody that we've approved.
I know a lot of factories, it's because we're giving out jobs and everything, so that's why it's asking that. It's not to create jobs or nothing like that.
No, it's to incentivize and encourage the quick development, finalization of dwellings, housing
Okay.
units.
Thank
And it
you.
helps with you saying that, with income tax, that could help.
It could.
And the other thing that I see that could help, that it gets the job done
Well,
in a timely manner
up to
instead
the
of,
council if they don't, if we're sitting here next year and nothing's been done or not done to the council's satisfaction, three council people say no more tax abatement. So it does allow some performance evaluation and holding them to that.
Is the schedule in this document?
No, I don't think we actually have one.
Okay.
It's in the final resolution.
Hmm.
It shows on the final resolution, I can tell you.
You mean
Well,
the,
that's okay. I don't need, because I just,
you mean the schedule of the abatement?
shall be granted for a period, about 3 years, subject to limitations contained in it.
I'm just not a big fan of abatements.
It's what Keegan said, 100%, 66% and 33%.
So the 100 would start in 27, right?
Correct. Presumably, they would finish construction next year, and then would get reassessed January of 27. Yeah. Correct.
So 30, they pay full. I would like to go that far in.
Yeah.
Don't have to worry about it.
Okay.
Why not? Come on. We'll still be sitting right here.
Any other questions from the council? We have a motion.
Did they already have planning commission approval?
Yes, and they've sought variance from the BZA, so they're in a position to be in the project ASAP.
Okay.
Is there a motion on resolution 2025-10?
I move we approve, resolution 2025-10.
Is there a second?
Yes, just to get the discussion.
Okay, there's been a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Is it within because I haven't read this, I just read it today. Is it within the document of the 1 year, for better, lack of a better term, the 1 year threat? It has to be completed in a year?
That is documented on my side. Yes. But within the actual tax abatement documents, I mean, it doesn't,
It's immaterial to me.
correct.
What would happen is if this is not done by because you guys know we vote on these every year. Keegan gives us a report, says whether he recommends they're in compliance or not. If they're not completed to our satisfaction or Keegan's in 2027, he would say that didn't go well, or they're still not done, or the project didn't even take off. I recommend we rescind the abatement. And then it would be like, but you usually wouldn't include, I don't remember seeing these. It does have to be complete for them to even get the abatement. So if they don't do anything, or they only do half of it, there would be no abatement to have.
Okay.
So if we're at discussion, I always vote no on these, but the trade-off is, I mean, Keegan, what's your thoughts? If we don't approve this, would it impact the timeline or?
And I've had continuous discussions with DMT Capital, and not a criticism on them, but we've never had a discussion that's been specific about this property until this discussion was brought up. So it does seem that this is helpful in the perspective of putting a timeline and an expectation to see development happen. We've had far more discussions on the other property they own, the former Tyon. So I do think that this helps set an expectation from the city of Tipton that we want to see this developed as soon as possible. And they have clearly agreed to that expectation by filing this tax abatement with the city.
So if you do some quick math, because the building itself, because what's happening might be worth very little to the city eventually, but 5 new people just 5 at 50,000 a year would generate an extra $3,500 to the city in income tax at the full levy rate of 1.4. So, I mean, that's the cost benefit analysis we have to do.
Well, it's probably a bad argument, but it's still a fact. The building has produced
Zero.
nothing of any value to the city as I know it for 35 years.
Right.
So,
That's true too. And it is,
and it's better than an empty lot.
And we need housing. No ands, ifs, or buts about it. We need housing.
I think that it's gotta be a substantial investment. I don't think there's much utilities in the building. I think it's empty.
Correct. There's a need to actually bring some improved utilities to the site.
Next.
There is a motion and a second on the floor. All those in favor of approving resolution 2025-10 signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
Motion passes. The next is ordinance 2025-08. This is for second and final reading, ordinance amending Appendix A, Schedule of Fees. As you recall, Judy joined us last time, provided us with that red line document, just a simple update to the fee schedule as assessed by Planning Department.
I'll make a motion to approve ordinance 2025-08 on second reading.
Second.
A motion and a second to approve ordinance 2025-08 on second and final reading. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. The next is ordinance 2025-09. It's an ordinance authorizing membership to the Central Indiana Regional Development Authority. Start with some context here. It's for 30 years or longer, we've acknowledged in this community that our growth is going to come from our south, yet we don't have an opportunity to join any of those conversations via any of these organized regional development authorities. So this is merely, as the saying goes, if you're not at the table, you're often on the menu. So as we plan for the growth here in Tipton, this provides us the opportunity to sit at the table, to have those discussions, joining. Of course, in the resolution or the ordinance, you'll see city names like Westfield and Carmel and Greenwood, but this organization now claims membership from folks like Elwood and Bargersville, Greenfield. So communities who are in that next ring with regard to Central Indiana are joining this organization to do just that, to have a seat at the table, to discuss their future and how they proactively plan for the growth in their community.
So this has no bearing on our decisions here.
Correct. This
other than
doesn't
the fact
authorize them the ability to dictate here locally. This allows us the
that- to
opportunity
get in.
via the mayor to join those conversations, to discuss even quality of life initiatives, but even transit. What does transit look like in the next 10, 20, or 30 years from a community perspective? And again, quality of life, development, residential housing. It allows us to join those conversations.
Even Elwood's part of this now.
Yes, Elwood is. I believe the most recent is Greenfield, who joined last year, but again, Franklin, Indiana, and Cumberland, Pittsburgh, Danville, all smaller communities who are now in that central swath joining the organization.
Well, they're definitely knocking on our door.
Correct?
No fee involved,
No,
like the northern, what's our fee on the northern?
I believe it's 3,000, a minimum of 3,000 a year
What did he ask? I'm sorry.
in North Central Indiana Regional Planning.
Well, I'll make a motion, we accept ordinance 2025-09.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve ordinance 2025-09 on first reading. All those in favor of the motion signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next, claims.
Tammy, I've got some questions. It seems like they're all out of order,
They are.
so I don't know where to start and stop. Did you notice that?
I did. Notice they were all out of whack.
Well, there was 3 that was probably paid from, like, we might have paid them on that, the same day. That wouldn't have hit yours because we print it on Friday.
Uh-huh.
So that's probably what some of them are, the gross wages and the payroll clearing for the EFTPS and the direct deposit. They just didn't hit the claims docket. But the rest of them should be,
No, they're all out of order, and then
Yeah.
17,
The
there's
even the
18 in the
further you go
middle,
down from page to page,
every page is out of order. Because we start with 18,
You mean as far as number order?
Yeah.
yeah,
mine's
17.
in order.
really.
mine's not.
This ain't even close.
See what I mean? And this is like page 4 or something like that, it's the others.
Mine's saying.
Oh, yours are in order?
These are in order.
Cool. I move that we approve
Look at
claim.
your amounts, just to make sure. Look at your amounts.
672, 645.
Yeah, same amount.
Look at,
It's just, yours are in order and others aren't. I move that we approve claims 1797653 through. I'll get to it in a minute. Getting old. 180,058 in the amount of $672,645. I'm sorry, $672,600.45.
Okay. Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve claims totaling $672,600.45. Question?
When did the city join PERF?
Last year.
Mhm.
Last year. It's a full 11%.
Correct. That is governed by statute. Yep. I think it's 11.2.
Yeah.
All those in favor of the motion signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstention? Motion passes. We're now to petitions, comments, and memorials.
Comes in.
Andy Pumpkin, 306 Rosie Street, talking about tax abatement, HPA. What did you find out about them not completing their drawings? Evidently nothing. Answer.
Well, I did, but I can't remember exactly what
That
she
leads to
said.
my next question is, there is no process in place for people as myself, who is a chronic complainer. When I come up here and voice my concerns, there's no mechanism for follow-up. You as council members have nothing in place to say, Andy, this is what we found out. I don't expect answers the same day, but I do expect answers. Even how, if you think my question is stupid, that's okay. Secondly, the old FNC building on Dearborn, there was a lot of action for a long time. Now it's dead silence. And where is that garbage? When is it going to be cleaned up?
We have proactively started a conversation internally to figure out what's the next steps of the property, because we had the same acknowledgement that progress has stalled on the property. So trying to understand exactly what next steps are. So we're actually in the process right now of contacting the property owner to determine what that looks like and how do we encourage that next stage so we can finally see that remediated fully.
And again, I've mentioned several times here at this podium, handicap parking. You know, I heard through the scuttlebutt that, Northside Cafe had 2, and then there was a big hoopla that they had to remove 1. So why can't I have an answer on city handicap parking?
What I can address phase the area in that area, parking in that area. So the last parking spot on the southbound lane actually violated city ordinance. You can't have a parking spot within 30 feet of stop sign. That was why that one was eliminated. And then I'm guessing in regards to downtown, some of it is trying to understand where people most park. So then we can always go back. And I think that was the expectation at the time. The crew who painted them didn't have blue paint. So now
So now
You
we gathered up white paint to cover up the yellow paint because,
Right.
we made more parking.
Correct.
spots. But nothing has been addressed to my question.
Yep.
I'd like conversation with you, Mayor, after the meeting about what we talked about earlier. I have some additional questions on that, so.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, Andy.
I'd like to mention something. Tipton Pork Festival is coming up pretty soon. September's not far away. They got a new board. They've been doing a great job this year, getting everything planned out. They're still always looking for volunteer help. They need more help on the pork festival. So if there's anybody that's looking to volunteer, be a good thing to help the community to get the festival up and running and stuff. But it's coming along really good this year.
Good.
Bob, in your tip, thank you, Mr. Mayor.
I think the action you've taken today on the ball fields is a huge step forward. And I assume the only waiting now is the time it just takes to do the things that need to be
Right.
done. You haven't been in office 19 months, and to get this far on a $2 million project, I think it's quite an accomplishment when I assume you do have other things that the mayor does besides fixing things like this, so.
My hairline might prove that point.
But no, I certainly appreciate what you do. I think it's quite an accomplishment for everything you had to go through and to get to this stage. That's a big project. Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
I just have one question. This is easy to fix. Some of us are older than most of you.
Yes, we are.
So can you put the,
Well, personal.
sorry about that. Can you put your microphones a little bit closer?
Ah.
You're sitting in the back, you're catching third word, fourth word, blah, 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 blah.
Thank you.
I mean, even though I can read it in the newspaper, I like
Yep.
to hear it.
Thanks, Roberta.
I think that's a big one of the, what she was talking about.
Yeah.
Approaching his age, I think she's got a valid point, because I had that problem too. And I've been told at home that I mumble too much. so- Huh?
Just kidding. I'll be the downer then. By this time, we all probably had a chance to meet with Keegan and review some of the trash data that Dylan has submitted. And just to be just blunt about it, we raised the trash rate in 2021, 5 years ago. We probably didn't raise it enough at that time. We raised it $2 from 13 to 15. If you look at the data, we're losing money in that endeavor, especially because that $15 incorporates trash, recycling, and yard waste. And if you look at the bulk trash pickup, it used to be done for free. Then we had to institute a fee because we were losing money there too, and we're still losing quite a bit of money. So with the updates to the trash data and everything from Dylan's expertise, we're probably gonna have to raise that monthly fee. I sent you all the trash ordinance, what we maybe need to raise it to. Dylan did ask me to look at the trash bulk rate as well, but he's also trying to be creative in his department. We got to see a grapple truck come to town. He brought a grapple truck come to town, and it maybe will eliminate the need to keep dumpsters at the city garage. We pay $24,000, I think roughly, is that right? $24,000 just for people to come get dumpsters every month for the bulk pickup. With this new grapple truck, we wouldn't need that, and the cost of the grapple truck would be similar, maybe $2,000 more a year. So, and we could use it for a lot of other things. So I think that may be in Dylan's budget for this year, maybe next year, for next year, but just be ready for that. It's never fun. I mean, no one liked raising the trash rates before, but the alternative is
We have a trash.
well, we do what other cities do, and they literally pay another company to come in and charge their citizens to pick up trash, who they also charge.
And that's,
Waste management would probably be between 60 and 80. And then on top of that, we'd have to take citizen taxpayer money and pay $500,000 probably for them to have the courtesy of making money. So I don't think the alternative is what we want, but we can't keep losing money every month on trash, recycling, and yard waste. So that'll be up for discussion at the next meeting.
The benefit of, and again, just from a justification perspective of the council, this time it's supported by the financial analysis, but it's also trying to appreciate this as a business similar to a utility. That as you go through these practices of updating utility rates, which again is not a position people enjoy, but to make sure that we've got equipment that can be relied upon, and then we provide the services that this community desires at a cost-effective price. To bid this out against Republic or Waste Management, the citizens of Tipton pay a great price in comparison. So we're just trying to make sure we've got the equipment that can be relied on, that make sure our staff and employees remain safe and effective at their job. If there's nothing else, accept a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn the meeting. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
All right.
Any opposed?
That was awfully quick.
Andy, I do apologize for not getting you that information. I did get it, but by the time I walked 20 feet from that door of Judy's office, I was probably hit with 14 other questions and completely forgot what she told me. Honest to God.